So this is Broken Doll. It's the fourth track on the album. It was one of the first group of songs that were written back when Evolve or Die was going to be Digital Mindy's follow-up release. I started actually working on this track in 2007, and it sounds a lot different now than it did then. And not to actually insinuate that I sat there for 3 or 4 years just, writing it, but it kind of sat in the pile of songs that you're like, man, I like this, but I'm going to come back to it later. So I set it on the shelf for a while, and while I was working on stuff, for the album, I went back and I found this old file, and I started listening to it, and I was like, wow, this is speaking to me. I like this. And I've always been a big fan of this kind of dirty synth line, nice bass and snare, danceable beat. Like, I like stuff that's dancey to me and has a real groove and moves on its own. Now, the song itself was, and I've been honestly put through the ringer quite a few times on this one, even by past bandmates that just don't get it. They're like, oh, you're being sexist and you're talking about, abusing women and that's not cool and shit like that. And, no, that's bullshit. Really, it's all narrative. I want to sit here and say I'm not a psycho, but I can't promise that. It's all narrative. Just because I'm singing about something doesn't mean that that's what I want to do or that I enjoy it. People don't go to Stephen King and they don't say, like, you wrote The Shining, you chopped down a, bathroom door with an axe and threatened your family, People don't say that, and I always have wondered why it is that music in general is the one medium that you get accused of being what you sing about or what you speak about. Maybe it's because it's a personal experience, like you're listening to it alone, and I'm telling you, and they interpret that as a conversation. I'm not sure, but that's something that kind of stuck with me. So the main character in this, he's an asshole. He's talking about how he enjoys the physical abuse. He enjoys holding somebody's emotional stability in his hands and crushing it. Because once again, Evolve or Die is about relationship dynamic. It's about, the various forms of either pleasure or pain that come from being involved in an emotional uplink with someone. So the title actually came from our friend Elizabeth Nosak. We call her Elizabeth. I was sitting there, and I started kind of playing the melody for her on keyboard one day, and as I'm working on this thing, what would this be called? And she said, Broken Doll. It would be called Broken Doll, and I loved the title. Absolutely loved it, so I ran with it, and all the lyrics started coming from there. Generally, when I'm writing a song, I will write all the music first, because I'm just really into making music, and then I kind of have to scratch my head sometimes and go like, okay, well now what is this about? And I will usually name the song first, and then after that I will start to write the lyrics for the song. So for me, the title, if it's exciting and catchy, then to me kind of goes like, okay, cool, Broken Doll. Now, what the hell is that about? And then that gives me the freedom to kind of start creating this storyline. And I think my biggest flaw as a lyricist is that sometimes I will create stories that are too large for the amount of time that I have to fit them in and to make them rhyme and to, there's a lot of different things that go with writing lyrics, and it's a hard process. So I think I've always definitely thought of myself more as a music writer and a songwriter before a lyricist, though I do enjoy it from time to time. So Elizabeth Nosak, she was the one who coined the Broken Doll, title for me. And, so thank you, Lizzie Beth. But really, just like the others, I think it was a pretty easy mix, and it came together for me pretty well. So thank you for listening.